Hello and welcome to the Food Adventures channel. Today we're going to try a new ramen. This is called the 5-wood steam seafood ramen. It's actually in Chinese, as you can see, but translated it's the steam seafood flavor ramen, the 5-wood seafood ramen. And there's 4 servings in here, and just by looking at these, I think the texture of the noodles make it look like more legit ramen than other ramen I've had. Of course, looks can be deceiving and the taste will tell all. So I'm gonna make a big bowl of ramen and then I will come back, eat it, and I will judge the taste. And let me know what you think if you've eaten this ramen before. The picture actually looks more like legit ramen than any of the other ramen as well, but we don't know and we will have to judge only by the taste. So this is a product of Taiwan, and it has 4 servings. I'm going to eat 3 of them for dinner because I'm hungry, and it's called, the Chinese characters actually say 5-wood seafood ramen, basically. So we're gonna see how this actually tastes. And just by the look, like I said, the look of it actually makes the ramen noodles, the texture, make it look more legit than like Shin ramen or any of the other ramen. It actually looks like true Asian ramen, but I'm gonna have to make some and taste will tell all. So let's go make some ramen. All right, we have a large bowl of ramen noodles here. I'm gonna set it on my lap and we're gonna start by drinking some of the soup. I actually really like the soup. It's a lot lighter than Shin ramen or the other Japanese like nuguri ramen. It's very light. I think I can eat more of it. There's not the complete saltiness in the soup that the other 2 ramen have, but it's a distinctly different taste of seafood. I actually really like the soup. The noodles look a lot like, look at the noodles here. The noodles actually look a lot lighter and not as heavy as when I eat Shin ramen, which means like I probably won't choke up as much usually, and I can eat more of it, but it is a healthy amount of ramen and it actually looks pretty good. Smell-wise, it doesn't have the same aroma that Shin ramen does, but it has its own distinct lighter aroma. And it looks very, very pleasant. It doesn't look nearly as dark as Shin ramen or like nuguri ramen, that other Japanese ramen. So we're gonna try some of the ramen, dip it in the soup first, because you always need to dip the ramen in the soup. We're gonna try some. The noodles are the noodles are pretty solid. I probably did overcook them a little bit, but the noodles are very solid. However, I don't think they're quite as flavorful or tasteful as the Shin ramen noodles. So I think I'd actually prefer the Shin ramen noodles. There's actually very, very little seafood in the entire bowl. There's just some I guess seagrass, sea lettuce, but it gives it a nice tint and it gives it a nice, more fresher smell. So late at night, I would definitely prefer this over Shin ramen or the nuguri ramen. But I think during the day, I would actually prefer those ramens. It's much a lighter taste, so it doesn't like bloat me as much as the other ramens, and especially the soup. It doesn't seem as heavy, so it's actually much lighter than like Shin ramen or the other premium ramen brands. The noodles are also a different texture. They're not, Shin ramen noodles are thicker, whereas these ramen noodles are flatter and stringier. And honestly, I prefer the flatter and stringier noodles, if you look at that. These noodles look a lot, taste a lot more like, or feel a lot more in my mouth like the knife cut noodles than Shin ramen. Shin ramen actually does feel a lot more like processed noodles. I'm sure these noodles are processed as well, but they have the wiggly kind of like knife cut texture to them, which to me I like more and it enhances the flavor more. As in terms of price, these noodles were a little bit cheaper than the Shin ramen noodles at about 55 cents a pack versus like around 90 cents a pack for the Shin ramen noodles. So which one would I prefer? If I'm actually eating like midday, and I basically am going and I need energy for my next outing, or like if I'm going hiking afterwards, I'd probably take the Shin ramen noodles. However, if I'm eating a late night snack, I would definitely prefer these noodles because they are lighter, and I think they just wouldn't feel as bad in my stomach when I go to sleep late at night. So overall, it's an excellent value. I placed this above both Shin Ramen and the Nuguri Ramen. In terms of value, I would definitely give this probably like an 8.5 out of 10. Not excellent taste, could be a little more flavorful, but very, very light, and the broth is more pleasing to me than the Shin Ramen broth. So overall, excellent pack of noodles. I think it was only $2.15 for 4 packs, so much cheaper than the Shin Ramen and other premium ramen brands, and excellent, excellent taste. So 8.5 out of 10. All right, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode.